Okay, this has been an interesting morning. First of all, I want to acknowledge that there's a gorgeous Corvette driving behind me, and I love it to pieces, and I want one. But, from there, I just finished off a mercantile shift, heading home for a short break before my evening shift, and it's been weird. First of all, the chaos of the day kind of started last night, honestly. Historically, I have had a ton of fun with dinner music, where they come into the room, they're playing, and I'll be dancing and singing along a lot of the time. Do what I can to keep serving, but usually we stop service while dinner music is going anyway, so that we don't disrupt them and the audience can enjoy the music. Yeah, but sometimes you don't have a ton of choice. So I'd taken to dancing and singing outside the room, and it was fun. Yeah, I'd had a lot of patrons say that they really appreciated it, they thought it was fun, they thought it was awesome. And they wanted me to get into the room and actually sing and dance right beside dinner music. Not happening. But, yeah. A week ago I checked in and said, hey, is this okay with you guys? Like, is this a thing? Is this too distracting for you, I suppose? It's back. He turned around. Oh, it's beautiful. Is this too distracting for you? And the answer was no. They said that they really enjoyed it, actually, that it was... that it encouraged the audience to sing along and be a part of it, and usually got a better reaction. Cool. Last night, doing my thing, like I always have. I'm not aware of having done something different. But then one of them comes up to me and is like, in no uncertain or very polite terms, honestly, made it clear that was not to happen again, because it was too disruptive. Which was weird. Yeah, and it kind of sucked. It honestly brought down my mood for the day, because I took so much joy in it. Like, it was a highlight of every shift for me. Yeah, I was getting good feedback on it, and I don't know. It was a good way to bond with patrons, and yeah, it was so much fun to dance along with the music. And then I was told, nope, this thing you're enjoying so much, don't do it anymore. So I was sad. And apparently, word got out that had happened. I don't know how, I don't know by who, I don't know the story. But I heard a couple people talking about it, or that's the other thing. I started getting a reputation as the dancing server in the mercantile. Like, a lot of people commented on my dancing, on what I was doing. And suddenly it all had to go. So yeah, that was a shame, but today, when I came in, a lot of people knew about it. I don't quite know how. Even my boss came over and said, hey, how'd that go? They should have come to talk to me and I talked to you, but yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. I had a few fires to put out because I'm like, look, last night was a tough night for different reasons, and yeah, that kind of tanked my mood further, but don't get me wrong, that's not why I was having a rougher evening. It was a big part of it, I won't deny, but yeah. So there was that, and then during the shift itself, what was the thing? Right. We had a couple interesting groups. We had one who didn't leave, even when the show had started. Okay, so they didn't get to go to the show. Yeah, I had two groups who were not the most well-spoken. They were kind of hard to communicate with, but oh well, it is what it is. Yeah. I found out, so okay, this week I changed my system for how I know when my shifts are, because at Saturday night usually our schedule is handed out to us through email. Cool. This week, I figured instead of every shift pulling up the email, loading the schedule, and figuring out where I am, I'm gonna go through it, put all my shifts into my calendar, and I'll just be able to check the calendar. And even if it's offline, my data is there. Twice this week, I've been late. I don't know what happened. My boss thinks there may have been a revision of the schedule that went out, but twice now I've showed up late, which is not great. So I've promised my boss I will be there. Like, we confirmed the time tonight, and I said I'd go back to my old schedule because that worked. Thankfully, I'm not in trouble because I've had a great reputation with being on time and getting stuff done. Like, seriously? I think this is the only time I've been late without saying something ahead of time. Looking at my schedule and saying, hey, I have a class that goes till 11:50, but you have me starting at 11:30. I can't make it to both. And they say, yeah, that's fine. School comes first. So, I'm not in trouble, but I'm feeling really bad. Yeah, and then, that was the third thing. I finally gave a birthday gift to a friend of mine. Yeah, she's a bit of a book nerd, so I tried to... I woke up yesterday to people posting on Facebook, happy birthday and all that stuff, and I went, oh shoot, right, that's a thing. So I needed to find something in the Mercantile gift shop. But she's a big bookworm, so I was like, here, let me find you a book. I found a copy of some Winnie the Pooh stories with some lovely little illustrations in them in color. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, finally actually got that to her today, which is cool. Yeah, I wanted to find something that was kind of personal, kind of safe. So I know you're a fan of books. Let's get you something there. What is something I know is good, that is enjoyable, that you might not already have? So I went with that. And it turned out to be great because she said she didn't have it, but as a kid, they'd had this really big book of Winnie the Pooh stories. So, I did good. Yeah, so my shift is only just over, and already I've dealt with all of that today. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to my trailer, crash for, I don't know, half an hour, whatever, and return for an evening shift tonight at 5 o'clock on the dot and not a minute later. It's not, yeah. I don't know what happened with the schedule, but it's okay. Haven't done a laying in bed update in a while. I think the last one was officially on the New York trip. Well, it's been interesting tonight. First of all, I had actually a really cool experience with one of the guests today. I don't know what the story was, but I noticed she was like, she wasn't saying anything herself, and she was using sign language to say something to her husband. And he looked at me and said, hey, my wife is looking for just a glass of ice or whatever it was that she wanted with her order. And I recognized that when I took her order, she signed thank you to me, which, if I remember right, is like 3 fingers, something like that, along those lines. I recognized it. And yeah, I had no idea how to respond to it, but I'm like, okay, I really want to go just an extra step and take care of this person. So I ran off to the back room of the Mercantile and really quickly looked up a YouTube video on how to say you're welcome in ASL. Yeah, so I dropped it off and she did the same thing. 3 fingers to the chin. See if I remember it. It was like hands together sort of to the chin and then around down to your chest. So like kind of thing. And whatever it was good enough that she recognized it because her eyes lit up when I did it. Like, yes! So, yeah, it was fun. It was really cool. I checked in with a few other staff, like, hey, does anyone know this? No. Then I got my boss's permission, like, go look it up, go do the thing. So I got to watch YouTube on my work shift. Yeah. The evening shift was also kind of unique. It started out, I was working with one other person in the biggest room in the mercantile, and my coworker had to leave early because she had a different job. She's the front of house for the show tonight. So she had to take off like an hour before the show starts, I think, which left me covering the entire room, which on its own is like, oh, I believe it was 64 seats. So that was a lot of people to care for. Yeah, but it was good. Thankfully, there was a lot of support from staff. We have what we call floats in the mercantile. People whose job it is to just go around to all the rooms, help out servers where needed, and mostly just collect plates and clear them. And yeah, the floating team was phenomenal tonight. They took care of me a whole lot, which is really sweet. Yeah, I got to stay. I did stay a little bit later cleaning up because I'd reset the entire room on my own. But I don't know, it was kind of fun. I got to put on some music and sing nice and loud. The mercantile's closed that like whatever it was, 8:45, 9ish at night. So yeah, I could sing anything I wanted as loud as I wanted. It was great. um, yeah. And then I'm tired. And then walking back from the mercantile, I had a kind of cool experience where, actually, twice she's appeared. Kate, the person I gave a birthday gift to, I was walking back to my trailer and I had music in my ears. I was singing. I think it was Strangers Like Me from Tarzan. The song ended and I figured, okay, for this last 2 minutes of walking back home, I want something really good that I can sing along with, something fun. Chose a song, was about to hit play when I heard someone behind me. I turned around and there's Kate coming up. And she invited me to go for a walk up what we call Cemetery Hill and watch the sunset for a little bit, which was kind of cool. So it was a chance to hang out and talk. Yeah, just spend some time together, which was kind of sweet. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a long day. I'm very tired. I'm physically exhausted. Yeah, you spend a lot of time on your feet at the mercantile. I didn't count all my hours from today. Excuse me. I didn't count all of my hours from today, but it's probably close to a little over 8 hours of being on your feet and running around and interacting with people all the ding dong day. So yeah, it wears on the feet and legs after a while. But yeah, I'm in my trailer. I'm gonna watch an episode or two of DuckTales before bed because I can. Why not? DuckTales is awesome and no one can tell me otherwise. It is currently a delightful... Was that about 5 degrees earlier, but oh, it's probably because it was sitting right next to me and I tend to run a little bit warm. It's currently about 5 or 6 degrees right now outside. Yeah. But I got a whole stack of blankets, which is really fun. An Oilers blanket I've had for a long time, a little white blanket that I don't really remember the story of, a incredibly soft navy blue blanket my mother gave me for Christmas, and somewhere in this stack, there it is, a really pretty blue quilt, a few different shades of blue, that a coworker made for me a couple summers ago. So yeah, I'm nice and warm, got a hoodie on, I have a sleeping bag if I freeze. I'm all taken care of. But there's something really nice about being in a cold room and being buried under a ton of blankets. It's fun. It's so good. feeling soft blankets on, like, just on you is just, oh, it's the best. So, anyway, it's probably about it. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. I have... Oh, I haven't even talked about rehearsals yet. Okay. Oh, goodness. There's more to this video. I'm in rehearsals for a show right now, which opens next week. Or, yeah, less than a week. A week from now, we close. Yeah, it's the final project for a classmate of mine, Koela. It is her name. And it's a version of David Copperfield, based on Charles Dickens' play. It's a little odd. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a 23-page script. The first, I believe 17 pages or so are all just Koela playing David. And the idea is he tells his story of his childhood, kind of to the audience. There's... The fourth wall is a little translucent, I guess. Yeah. Tells the story to the audience, and then at some, like, he eventually goes and knocks on his aunt's door. Miss Trotwood is her name. And his aunt shows up, and that's where you finally see a second actor, and that's on about page 16 or 17. She comes out, and then, yeah, basically it's a question of, will he be taken in by this family? My character is Mr. Murdston, who is David's stepfather, who's kind of just the worst. I think he does care. He does have a heart. He was truly saddened when David's mother passed away. But his big thing is firmness. Like, they even say that in the script. No one will be more firm than him. The only one allowed to be firm in his life was Clara, David's mother. But even then, something about only as a reflection of him and who he is. So, it's, yeah. He's not the friendliest character, but that's okay. Yeah. I walk in for the first time on page 20, and I exit on page 22. So I have a very, very small part in this show. But it's something. It's a little bit of acting this summer. I'm happy for it. Yeah. We started rehearsals this week on Monday. And we have preview next week Wednesday. So we've not had a lot of time to work this. Like, Monday we start rehearsals, and this week Wednesday we were off book. We're supposed to be. So we've had to learn this stuff really fast, but there's some fun things. Like, I'm in charge of bringing up a backdrop curtain kind of thing. Like, it's happening. David's talking to the audience takes place in front of the stage, kind of. And then when we shift from... The way it's been described is when we shift from narration to actual storytelling, they move onto the stage, and I, backstage, raise up the backdrop that everything's been in front of to reveal the actual set. It's fun. I also had to practice a kind of brutal quick change, because we needed David to go from, like, an entirely different outfit in, I believe the count was 1 minute and 12 seconds. So it's this whole well choreographed operation. Koela comes down, she takes off her overshirt, tosses it to the side. I am standing ready with another shirt, arms like backwards through the sleeves. Like, I put my hand in at the cuff of the sleeve and then go in through the shirt. Pull it over her head. She grabs my hands and I pull her hands through the sleeves. And then while she works to button it up, I drop down and help her get her shoes and her legs and everything into a different pair of pants.
Like we're just putting on another layer. But yeah, we have to actually get big shoes through the what's the word for it? There's got to be a word for it. Like I want to say the cuff, I guess, of the pants. I don't know. Whatever it be. We have to get the shoes through there, and I do that. Once they're through, I sort of half hike up the pants. She takes them all the rest of the way, and then I sort out I make sure that the bottom of them is sitting just fine, and then sort of like put her hat back on her head, sort of mess with her hair to tuck everything into the hat. It's a whole operation. We have a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time, but we figured out what we're doing. So, yeah, that's fun. You'll probably get more updates about that as it goes. Yeah. It's not my favorite show. I'm not super jazzed about it, but it's something. Tomorrow, what I was going to say earlier, and then remembered about that, is myself and Caleb from Rosebud are heading to the Passion Play site for some sort of script workshop. They say it's mostly to look at some of the changes that have happened. Yeah, I don't really know what to expect, but it's going to be my first exposure to the cast and crew of the Passion Play, which is coming up so quickly. I moved to the site in a week. Oh man, this summer's already disappearing, but yeah. So that'll be fun. I am definitely going to try and get some footage for that, because that's going to be something interesting to talk about. So, anyway, I think that's about it for tonight. So, I'm going to clock out there. And you might hear from me tomorrow, or you might not. Let's be honest, my uploading schedule has been approximately when I remember to. So, yeah. Ciao for now. Okay, no, I'm sorry, that was so cringy. I'll figure out some sort of official sign-off eventually, I'm sure. Out of curiosity, now it's away from me. Yeah, the thermometer's dropped down to lower than it was before. I think just sitting next to my head warmed it up a little. Bye!